Here are the three main pieces to the Bryce security nut: a shroud, an inner nut, and a top protector nut. It was developed because action was needed on the Nigerian oil pipeline because there was a tremendous amount of theft. If you can see in this article, Nigeria loses 138,400 barrels per day of crude, around 7% of their total. Most of it centers around this feature right here, which is part of the wellhead. You can see right now that they use structural nuts, typical of wheel lock nuts. You can see right there that this is a tapered nut with a keyway on the top of it. There's one there as well. And here they have a puzzle nut that you can get to the inside of, very similar to what this is right here. These things did not work. And that was the reason why they conscripted us to try to make some of our fasteners with a better design. Bryce wellhead anti-theft and anti-tap features were developed because those other nuts did not work with their simple one way of doing it only method. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain the three reasons why you would want to buy this fastener. First of all, it's the anti-theft and anti-tamper features. Second of all is it's easy to use. And third of all, it holds superior to any other security nut. First of all is the shroud. We're going to show it right here. You can see that it's not only a spinning hardened shroud, but it's also incredibly strong. It can take the blows of many sledgehammer beats and without failure. Next is the security nut. It has a puzzle, actually billions of different possible keyways. And if you look closely, you can see that it's very shallow fins, and yet all are keyed individually to each client. Not only does it have billions of different keyways, but the driver to drive it is a zero tolerance driver. In other words, I can literally pick up the nut with the driver bit because it's 100% engaged in the keyway. This means duplicating has to have the same, and it's very, very difficult for anybody without our proprietary tools to do so. Now to put it on, you remove the very same 2H nut that it's going to be tightened on with, and then you can go ahead and tighten this down into the sleeve. Once tight, you can use your regular standard wrenches or installation tools that you would normally use to tighten a regular 2H nut, and you put it tight. This is followed with our protector nut we say in the top, or our security cap. It has different hole patterns that are a puzzle in themselves. We have a separate tightening tool for these because the torque is going to be much less, even though it's effective. It's going to still be much less than the amount of torque you would put on the protector nut, which can be up to 2,000 foot-pounds. Same tightening tool, tightens these. You just don't want to tighten quite as tight because those pins could break. That's the reason why we give you an extra set of pins on each side, just in case they do break out in the field. And you can also easily replace them by just putting some more pins in. When finished, you have this finished nut. It's about the same size as a regular 2H nut, but the shroud spins. And the shroud is so hard that all wrenches, all sawzall blades will not affect it. Also, you can see there's hardly any tolerance between the top plate so that things can't get in there, not screwdrivers, not chisels or anything, nor underneath. It's such that it's so shallow that not even a sawzall blade can get underneath. As you can see, it used the same tools that you would normally use to tighten your 2H nut. So you don't have to go buy special tools, special hydraulic pumps or anything. It's exactly the same to put it on as to take off a regular 2H nut. The final thing we did is we put a Teflon coating on the top of it. This allows you to torque it up higher than you would if there was no Teflon coating at all. It also is very, very anti-corrosive, up to 4,000 hour salt spray. So thus the nut will always stay in place, it will not be corroded, and it will not fail because of corrosion. That is our pipeline security nut, especially effective on wellheads, and it's especially tamper resistant and tamper proof. The next video will show how it can handle an attack. To review, the spinning shroud prevents tampering. The shroud is thick and hardened alloy steel that rebuffs sledgehammers. It's actually rock welded around RC60, which is as hard as a drill. The top security cap has a puzzle. The protector nut inside has 131 billion keyway variations, so you get your own proprietary keyway. The keyway requires a zero tolerance fit to be removed. As you notice, remember how it's stuck to the driver bit. Each piece is specially hardened to repel pipe wrenches and hacksaw blades. All the parts, including the outside shroud. The keyway has a slip and strip technology to rebuff imperfect removal tools. What you didn't notice there is that we have some special tapers and angles on the inside nut, and that actually will an imperfectly made removal tool will actually shear off its fins. And the tight tolerances don't permit chisels or saw blades. It's easily loose by simply removing the old 2H nut with the exact same tools that you use. The nut and the shroud take up about the same space as a regular 2H nut at its corners. There are no specialized torque wrenches needed, or as in other security nuts. And the hold is superior to other security nuts. The base of our security nut is the same size as a 2H nut with the same grip. Coated with Teflon, it tightens the joint higher than any other security nut, equal to ASTM standards. The second security cap adds extra torque and resists removal just as a vibration resistant would. But the final important thing is that some of the time people would like to torque our bigger nuts up to 2,000 foot-pounds. The highest rated torque on one of those other puzzle nuts that we saw that were not effective was 500 foot-pounds. So we actually can get 4 times the amount of torque on our nut as anything else. Thank you for looking at our Bryce wellhead security nut. It has been ordered twice for the Nigerian pipeline. We have another order in the books right now, and so far we've had no complaints.